What's up everyone, TheGame2k2 here again, and today I begin my review of the hit horror spoof franchise, Scary Movie. In the late 90s, the horror movie genre saw a huge resurgence with a great number of successful films. Movies like Scream, Halloween H2O, The Blair Witch Project, and The Sixth Sense revived the genre after a long list of box office and critical failures during the early to mid-90s. In today's movie world, you truly know when a genre is successful when a parody is made about it, and the one to start it all for the horror genre was Scary Movie. Scary Movie was directed by Keenan Wayans. While it does reference all the movies I mentioned earlier, it references Scream the most. In fact, the story and killer are the same. To be honest, I don't like very many spoofs. I think out of all the spoofs that have come out over the last 30 years, I've only liked 2 or 3, with Airplane being my favorite. Airplane is a classic. The reason being is that spoofs are either funny or extremely dumb. Scary Movie is like any spoof. It has meaningless toilet humor, sex jokes, and is very over the top. However, Scary Movie is pretty good for the most part. To be quite honest, while I liked most of the humor in Scary Movie, there are moments when I did feel that the humor got a little too gross, even by spoof standards. Some of the sex jokes are a little weird, and there are quite a few jokes that seemed forced in. However, there are some great comedic gold in Scary Movie. The locker room scene where the killer kills Shannon Elizabeth's character, Buffy, is a great parody and is extremely funny. The killer himself is simply classic. I don't think there was a dull moment with that character at all. While the film does parody horror for the most part, there are also some other parodies that come straight out of nowhere. When I saw this film for the first time back in 2000, I wasn't expecting the parody of The Matrix at all. This was the first film I remember that parodied that movie, and definitely wasn't the last because The Matrix was such a big deal back then. But that whole fight scene between the killer and the character Sidney was just simply classic and was unbelievably funny. However, one of my favorite parodies was Dawson's Creek, mainly because I absolutely hated Dawson's Creek during its original run, and it was really great to see this movie parody that. Everyone overlooked that joke, but I loved it. I guess there's also no reason to go into the acting in this movie because it's purposely meant to be terrible and over the top, but I will discuss the cast. Anna Faris is extremely funny as Sydney. Faris is one of those actresses that really draws you into this movie. Even though she's being over the top and goofy, there's a certain charm about her in this movie and the rest of the series. Then there's Sean and Marlon Wayans. Those two are such underrated comedians, and a lot of people really ignore how talented they really are, because not only do they star in the film, but they also helped write it. They also helped write the second film, which I'll get to that next time. Regina Hall as Brenda is another actress that is just plain funny in this film, and it's actually her character actually gets more funnier as the series goes on. Then there's Shannon Elizabeth, an actress who I swore was going to be another actress that was all looks with no acting ability whatsoever, but she's actually really funny in this movie. The locker room scene always makes me laugh, and she's incredible in that scene. However, as good as most of the cast is, even in spoofs, there are always those characters and actors who are so over the top that they are irritating, and the actor I'm talking about is John Abraham as Bobby. By the 5-minute mark, I already wanted someone to kill him in this movie. He was that irritating. I found him irritating. I don't know how you guys felt about him. I know it's my opinion. Overall, I can't say that Scary Movie is the best spoof film I've ever seen in my life, but it's definitely one of the better ones. Scary Movie does suffer from some pretty lame humor in some spots, but it's still very enjoyable and is very original in its own right. Well, you guys, thank you for listening. Tune in next time as I continue my review of this hit franchise with Scary Movie 2.